Welcome back into the Tide Talk podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Blackwood. But before we dive into today's interview portion of the show, I need you to head over and subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Stitcher. And if you subscribe to us and watch us on YouTube, make sure you give us a huge thumbs up and then jump down in the comment section below and leave us your thoughts on today's show. All right, now that you have done all that, I need you to head on over to betonline.ag. BetOnline.ag has all the bets that you need, whether it's the NBA playoffs, the hockey playoffs, or all the Major League Baseball marquee matchups. Head over to betonline.ag to place those bets. That's betonline.ag. So before the next tip-off, face-off, or first pitch, head on over to betonline.ag. And if you sign up today, you will receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. All right, we're fixing to dive into our interview portion of the show. Today we have a kind of a recap of the Major League Baseball draft from earlier this week with Hunter Letson, a good friend of mine who knows all about some Alabama baseball, and we're super excited to have him on the show. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Hunter Letson, and make sure that you look at his marketing group, the WD Marketing Group. We're going to allow him to plug that in here at the end of the episode, so make sure you stay tuned to that. We're going to head off to the interview portion of the show now. Roll Tide. What's up, everybody? I'm joined now by Hunter Letson, a good friend of mine, and we're going to talk a little bit about some Alabama baseball. Of course, earlier this week, the Major League Draft was held, so we have a few players to talk about there. We're excited to bring Hunter on. So, Hunter, let's just dive right into it without, taking up too much of anyone's time. Peyton Wilson was selected number 66 overall. Kind of talk about Peyton Wilson and just a young kid, just after his sophomore season with the Tide. What is Kansas City getting?
Well, they're getting a guy that can play 9 positions if you count the DH. I know at Bama he's played second, left, center, so he could play right, could play first if he had to. He's athletic enough to play shortstop, got the arm to play third. So and he caught. If you remember his freshman year, the shortened season, he was he caught. He started several games catching and several in relief. So, you got a real 10-position guy right there, or 9-position.
Yeah. Would you say he's the most athletic of the Wilson bunch?
I think all the Wilsons would say that. So, yeah.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch these past 2 seasons. Wish we could get a little bit more out of him, a couple more years or so. But I know I'd be chasing that money and playing in the big leagues, and I think he's going to have a long career for all the reasons you mentioned. Just his ability to play all over the field and kind of help a team out wherever they have a need at that point in time. And next we have Dylan Smith, the pitcher, a guy that his win-loss record isn't what really represents what type of player he is and what type of pitcher he is. He goes number 74 overall to the Detroit Tigers. What's your thoughts on Smith and his career in the major leagues?
Dylan Smith is just electric. And you talked about the win-loss record. It kind of reminds me of Jake Walters from a couple years back. Jake was the guy. He was the Saturday guy, just like Dylan. Probably should have been, had double the wins they did, but for whatever reason, they just never got any run support. The Tigers are getting a good one. He's a hard worker. That's, nose to the grindstone type of kid that and that's what they look for up there. The Tigers have in the last couple of years, they've drafted a lot of SEC pitchers. And, Casey Miles is doing his thing from Auburn. He's in the pros with them right now. Spencer Turnbull from Alabama. So I expect Dylan to be the next one up, in that little lineage there. And probably take him a couple years to get there, but I'd bet my money he's going to be throwing for the pros one day.
Yeah, he's, like you said, electrifying. It's not a lot of pitchers are kind of that adjective isn't really thrown around with pitchers, but he's so much fun to watch Probably one of my favorite players to watch this past season for the Tide. Then we move on to Chase Lee. Here's a guy that the the album of Fateful Love, the Viper, just one of the best closers in all of college baseball. He goes in the 6th round to the Texas Rangers. What are his chances of making it to the big leagues?
Well, when you take into account his arm slot and how he dominates right-handed batters, I think he'll be there soon. He'll probably be there before anyone else. I don't know if y'all know this yet. He's going straight to Double A, which is pretty much unheard of for any draftee. So yeah, he'll be with Frisco in the next couple weeks. The Rough Riders. And I think he's in a good spot too with Texas. They're a pretty good team or pretty good organization, top to bottom, and he'll be able to compete for a spot starting right out. So,
dude, you talked about the Rough Riders. The the minor leagues have the best nicknames for teams.
Trash Pandas, Rough Riders.
There's all sorts of great ones out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chase Lee has been a fan favorite for the past couple seasons, and he's certainly a guy that most fans are going to try to keep up with. Kind of speaking of that closer position, now that he's going to be gone, this is kind of a little bit off subject. Who do you expect to kind of be in that role next season for Alabama?
I don't know if there's one guy. Guffey probably will be considered. But being left-handed, sometimes you don't want to put him in against the big right-handed power guys. So probably Guffey, maybe McNary if he doesn't turn into a starter. I could kind of see him going either way. And the obvious choice is probably Landon Green. So we got options. See, there's 3 guys there that McNary and Green. Either one would make good starters, and they have experience starting in relief. So if I had to put my money on it, it'd probably be Green or Guffey, and McNary is the third guy there.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for the baseball program. A lot of talent's being brought in, and it's nice to see these guys being drafted. There's some guys that we can follow along with now in the major leagues for the next few seasons, and we're excited about that. Next, we're going to talk about Sam Pareder, also drafted in the 6th round by the Miami Marlins. So just Sam, he's I've noticed that the last few guys, they're all kind of fan favorites. When you talk about Sam Pareder, Dylan Smith, and Chase Lee, they've kind of been the fan favorites for the past couple seasons. And how do you see Prater, kind of moving on to the major leagues? Do you think he has a chance to be a starter in the leagues as a catcher?
Well, anytime you're a catcher and you can hit with, above 200 in the minors, which a little more in the minors, but if you can get to the majors, hit above 200, be a solid catcher, game manager, you're going to hang around for a while. And that's what Sam is. He's All-American catcher, all SEC. Probably should have gone a lot higher.
I agree.
In my opinion, the Marlins now, they did draft a catcher in the 1st round, so maybe they were kind of, not wanting to get 2 guys, but I think when it came to his spot, you kind of had to take him there. And, the catcher they took in the 1st round, I forget his name, but he's coming straight out of high school. So Sam's got 3 years of, basically Double A experience being in the SEC. So he's going to compete. He's going to work. He's going to hit. He's got power. He's pretty quick. He's deceptively quick. Not like he's going to steal some bases, but if the ball finds the gap, he's going to find his way home. So yeah, we're going to miss Sam a lot. But
yeah, he was kind of the heart and soul of the team. He was kind of that leader. So really going to miss Prater. And then the last guy, Tyler Ross, drafted in the 4th round by the Rockies, or 14th round, excuse me, by the Rockies. Probably got a little bit longer of a road to the pros than some of these other guys, but a guy that you can probably put, like you said, in the bullpen. What are your projections for him in the major leagues?
Well, I think he'll do well. I don't know. I don't know what his ceiling is, but I know that kind of like Peyton, he's not just a pitcher. If you remember, he played first base, right field some. So, he's got options, and I think that's kind of what the Rockies were looking for, a guy that may be able to, not on a Shohei level, but hey, if you can get us a couple innings here and then hit a bomb or two, it's all good. So, but he's one thing that sticks out to me with Ross. We had a booster club meeting. I guess it was freshman year, so 2 or 3 years ago, and I asked, do you prefer the mound or the field? And he said, whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
So that kind of always stuck with me. So and that just shows you the character of the guy that the Rockies got there.
Well, those are the type of players who stick around in organizations, even if he doesn't make it up to the major leagues. He's going to be around in their system and kind of competing, like you said, at different positions. So super excited for all these guys. It's nice to see this amount of players drafted in the draft. I know Coach Bo is going to have even more guys drafted over the next few years. There's a lot of talent on the team right now. He's bringing in a lot of talent to the team this year. And kind of piggybacking off of that, what are your expectations over the next couple of seasons for this program? And are you, happy or content with the progress that Coach Bohannon has made?
Yeah, so I think it was D1 Baseball or Baseball America predicted the program to go to Omaha next year.
Okay.
I try not to put too big expectations on things, but that's the goal, is to get there and then to win. The shortened season, I really think we would have been, super regional, borderline Omaha caliber team, because, we lost 3 guys off that team that if we had this year, we're probably still in that same type of spot. So the program's in great hands. Bo, and as far as, in Alabama, we're at a bit of a disadvantage to some of our border states, wise. But Bo does his best with that. He gets kids, like, if we're just being honest, Owen Diodati shouldn't be here. Like,
right.
He could have gone multiple places, and he was drafted, turned down, an offer from the hometown Blue Jays. And you see that all over the roster, not just to single him out. And one of our guys, Luke Holman, he was actually drafted by I think it was by the Blue Jays, and turned it down to come to campus. Turned down, almost $1 million to come to campus. So Bo's doing something right, a lot right. I think having Matt Rada back as a hitting coach, and just his energy around the clubhouse is going to probably do wonders for our team.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting time for the baseball program. I'm hoping they can kind of catch up to what the softball team has been doing the last several years under Coach Patrick Murphy. So super excited about the program. Hunter, I appreciate you jumping on with us today to kind of talk about all these guys and their futures in the majors. But real quick, you have a marketing firm, and I just want you to give that a quick plug in and kind of tell everybody what you're doing there at WD Marketing Group.
Yeah, so I appreciate you giving me that opportunity. So I run WD Marketing Group. We do SEO, social media, traditional marketing and advertising, really whatever you need, we'll figure out how to do it. And the idea behind that is just there's a lot of small companies that either don't have the funds or don't have the time to have their own marketing department. So the idea is, hey, let us be your marketing department. And if you're interested in any of that, check us out online at wdmarketinggroup.com, or we're on Facebook, Instagram, or you can find me and we'll help you out.
Hunter, we certainly appreciate you jumping on with us today. Had a great conversation about the baseball program, so maybe we can do this more often, especially in the spring when things get a little closer, and we appreciate it. You have a good one, bud. Roll Tide.
All right. Thanks, Stacey. Roll Tide.